Hi friends, today's lesson is from Module 6, Lesson 3. Friends, we've been talking about shapes, and I want to see if you can find a shape in here that I found this morning that I thought was amazing. Because I love to order offline, and I got this box in the mail, and I had shapes on the brain, and I noticed some things. Do you see anything that looks like shapes that we've been discussing? Yeah, look at this. This side looks like a square, right? What about the top? The top also looks like a square. And this side looked like a square. And as a matter of fact, I could turn the box all around and all I saw were squares. That's because when you put a whole bunch of squares together, you can draw or make the shape of a cube, which is this solid shape. This is actually really helpful because our learning goal for today says I can draw solid shapes. Now, if you're thinking about a solid shape like a box, it's going to be really hard to draw it so that it looks 3D-ish or like so that you can hold it in your hand on a piece of paper, right? But before we get to that, I'm going to show you a trick. Before we get to that, I'm going to show you why the trick works, okay? So here is a cube. It's an ice cube. And I'm going to show... All right, so here is an ice cube. Ice cubes are great because they're a solid shape and we can see through them, so you can see all the different parts. So just like on my box where I saw a whole bunch of squares, I'm going to show you all the squares on this ice cube. Are you ready? Okay, so here is a square. Do you see it? And then there's also a square in the back. There's a square on the top. There's a square on the bottom. There's a square on that side. And there's a square on that side. Now I made them different colors so you can see because I'm not going to twist the box around as we're working. I'm just going to show it to you from the very front. But I want you to see that as we place all of those squares, that's what makes the outside of the box. Now, go ahead. Will you count those squares with me? Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so there are 6 squares all together on the outside of that box. Now, remember our learning goal was that we were going to draw this shape. And I bet you're looking at that thinking, that's a little wild, Miss Arwood. Well, you're right. It's really hard to draw solid shapes because there's so many shapes that go into making one. But for a solid shape that has squares in it, we can use our understanding of how squares work to make the shape. All right, so here, watch me. Okay, so on my dry erase board, I would draw one square. We know on the back of the box was another square. So like a little bit to the back, I'm going to draw a second square. See my 2 squares? Now I can see this top line up here is the top or bottom of a square because a square fits right on top of the box. So I'm going to connect these lines. I'm going to connect the corners. And now already I get that shape building of my solid shape. So I have those corners, and then I'm going to connect these corners. And then I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to connect the back square to the front square. See? And now I have a solid shape. So I use my understanding of squares and how I connected those to build my solid shape. So I did 2 squares, and then I just connected the squares at the corners. All right, friend, I need you to grab your dry erase board or a marker because you're going to draw this solid shape with me. Are you ready? Go ahead and press pause. We have to go grab it if you need to, and then come right back. Okay, so you should have a dry erase board and a marker or even a math notebook, and we're going to go ahead and practice drawing this square. All right, the first thing we're going to do is draw a square. Go ahead, friends. All right, now if I go too fast, you can go ahead and pause it. All right, so we drew our first square, and now right behind it, we're going to draw another square. We want to do it a little bit over to the side because we need space to draw our connecting lines. So just like that, just draw another square right behind it. All right, do you have your other square behind it? Okay, now because we know a box has one square in the front and one in the back, we just have to connect the front and the back. All right, so go ahead. You're going to draw a connecting line at one corner, a connecting line to the other corner, a connecting line to the bottom corner, and a connecting line to the other corner. Oh, look at you made a solid shape, friends. Now, if you want to practice again, go ahead, press pause while you do it. If you need to rewind a little bit and watch me build the shape again to practice, feel free. All right, let's move on. I was also looking at my lipstick and I saw, oh my goodness, this is a cylinder. It's a solid shape. And there are other shapes on the inside that would help me to draw it. So look it, there's a circle on the top and then I see like straight lines on the side. If I were to look carefully, oh, there's a straight line on the other side too. Sorry, friends. If I were to look carefully, I would see that there's a circle on the top, a circle on the bottom, that's how it sits flat on the table, and then 2 lines for the sides. And that's how I can draw this cylinder or solid shape. All right, grab that dry erase board again because we're going to practice. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and just draw a circle floating at the top. Okay, leave a little bit of space and draw another circle. All right, and now we're just going to connect those. So draw one long line and then draw another connecting one. Ding, 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 look it, we made a cylinder. See, by looking at the simple lines or shapes that we can see on solid ones, we can go ahead and draw them if we just do them very simply. Okay, so if you want to practice again, go ahead and press pause or rewind, practice on your dry erase board or your notebook, and then press play. All right, here we go. There's another circle. One at the bottom. One connecting line. And then another. We're getting so good at these solid shapes. Excellent job, friends. All right, our learning goal for today says, I can draw solid shapes. And that's exactly what we did. All right, good luck as you are continuing to practice drawing those solid shapes.